In the last episode, I told you about a customer experience that went sideways. Now, I didn't tell you because the product was bad or because the customer service was awful. I told this story because the system didn't respond to what I was clearly doing. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It was eerily similar to experiences that I've had in the inbox from wine brands. So today, I want to show you how to spot the signals your customers are already giving you and how to use them to trigger smarter, more human email experiences. Not more emails, more useful, delightful emails. Stick with me because I'm about to pull you out of the wine bottle and into your customer's reality. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And at least in this case, that is a good thing. Welcome to the Email Mavens YouTube channel, the place for winery owners and marketing pros who want to sell more wine online by sending better marketing emails. I'm Erica Walter, founder and CEO of Email Mavens, and I want to give you a quick clarification before we dive in, okay? This is not a tech tutorial. This works whether you're using Klaviyo and Commerce 7 with Digimatic, or you're using MailChimp or Shopify or Orderport, anything, okay? The tools change, and good ones will always make available to you as a marketer the signals that you need to create superlative customer experiences in the inbox. Here are some core signal categories. Form submitted. This could be an intent signal. When someone submits a form on your website, they're raising their hand. Now that could be a newsletter sign up, a tasting request, a waitlist form, or even just like a generic contact or inquiry form. What usually happens is that they submit the form and get dumped into a generic welcome flow. What should happen is your email acknowledges why they reached out. The key question to ask is this: does our follow-up email reflect the reason they reached out, or just our default agenda? If someone requests a tasting, tell them what happens next, who they'll hear from, and how quickly. If they get on a wait list for an upcoming release or promotion, tell them how they'll know they made the cut and give them an estimated timeline for when you'll reach out next. If they're interested in weddings at your venue, don't dump them into a funnel that's orchestrated to sell a 4-bottle discovery pack online. They're planning the biggest day of their lives, and your winery made the cut for consideration. Celebrate the crap out of it. Don't send them a generic welcome giving them 20% off 4 bottles or more online. Ouch. Okay, oh, sorry. I was very excited about that, but you can see how this is where bad experiences quietly begin. You need to be ruthless in auditing the forms on your website and the post-submit experience for your customers. Okay, that's the one I wanted to riff on the most because it really bothers me, okay? But there are other signals to be looking at, like a new profile versus existing profile. Now this one is wildly underused. A new profile needs orientation, context, reassurance. An existing profile might need recognition, continuity, respect. Go back to the previous episode. I went through the sales funnel at the same start 2 times because I used a chatbot. Okay, so sending the same message to a first-time buyer versus like a 5-year club member is how wineries accidentally feel clueless. Your system should be asking, is this their first outreach to us, their first connection point with us, or is this a continuation? Okay? My blood pressure needs to go down. Let's shift gears. And we're going to now talk about purchase volume, purchase type, and purchase channel. Not all purchases mean the same thing. Someone who buys a bottle or two versus a case versus an event ticket or a guided experience, they should not receive the same next message. And if they purchased via the online store, their onboarding experience should acknowledge this, while an in-person sale should also say, "Thank you for spending time with us." This is where onboarding matters the most. Your post-purchase emails should answer these questions from the customer. What did I just buy? What should I expect next? When should I hear from you again? And who do I contact if I need support? And if you're reaching out to someone with a second purchase or third purchase email and they're not a club, there's an opportunity for upsells that don't happen if the same exact trigger is sending the same exact thing. There's nuance here, okay? Ooh, and by the way, this also includes your receipts. Receipts are emails. I mean, if they're sent via email, which they should be, okay? And they deserve just as much attention as campaigns. All right, moving away from purchase information to marketing channel signals for a hot second. Because channel signals are something we often don't take into consideration at all. Email is not the whole story. Your customers don't exist within one marketing channel. They might opt into SMS and not email. They might engage heavily in the tasting room. They might click emails but never buy. They might buy regularly but never click, indicating that they're self-reliant badasses who seek you out. But here's the bigger thing to remember, okay? Email does not live in a vacuum. Your customers are interacting with your brand in a lot of other places. And those signals in any CRM or point of sale worth its salt are available to you, okay? They're hanging out with you in the tasting room. They're hanging out on your website. They're on your checkout pages. They're coming to your events. They're reaching out to customer service. They're liking you and commenting on social media, and they may even be texting with you, okay? Your email strategy should adapt to that exposure, not compete with it, not repeat it, and not pretend it doesn't exist. Now that we've addressed some signals that wineries have an opportunity to examine, I want to shift gears to the most important application of today's teaching, which is your welcome and onboarding flows. Y'all know how I feel about welcome emails. Like, they're the most important emails a brand will ever send. I said it 1,000 times. If you don't have one, if you don't have a welcome email yet, go to emailmavens.com/welcome, and I will send you a ton of goodies so that you can have a welcome email before the weekend, okay? We're pinky promising you're doing it, okay? And if you do have a welcome email or a welcome series, here's what you're going to do after you finish watching this episode. I want you to audit your welcome and post-purchase flows today and then every 90 days. I want you to ask, does this reflect our current business? Are expectations still accurately communicated? Are the links still working? And does this sound like us now? The wine industry evolves fast. I can't believe I said that, but it's true. Think about it. New tasting experiences, new releases, new events, new key faces behind the bar. Your automations need to keep up to stay impactful. So set yourself a reminder at least every 90 days to audit and review your automations. And make a mental note to review your welcome series anytime you sell out of a release or introduce a new tasting experience, publish a new event. This alone will save you tons of headache and give your customers a welcome experience in the inbox that matches the care you put into every other aspect at your winery. Here's what to do with what you know now. Well, here's what to know If you didn't get this part already, I'm gonna reiterate it. Your customers are constantly telling you what they need. Not openly necessarily all the time, although that one wine club member may fit the bill here. They're telling you through forms, through purchases, through their timing and their behavior. Your job is not to just listen, respond. When your emails respond to those signals, trust increases, friction drops, and experiences improve. But most importantly, your systems stop getting in the way of your amazing wine. If you liked today's episode, be sure to like it, like push the button that says you liked it, and subscribe, because in future episodes, we're gonna keep building on this. How to layer these signals into existing flows, how to prioritize without overwhelming your team or your subscribers' inbox, and how to spot the early warning signs before customers disengage. The goal here isn't more automation, it's better alignment. Until next week, keep pressing send on your next best email. This is not my favorite shirt, but I have an appearance to uphold, which is that I don't wear the same outfit in any episode. All right.
It's a little Easter egg.
Can you spot any repeats? Let's go. Does our follow-up email reflect the question that the customer just act? Act. Damn it, I was on fire. That's it for next week. That's it for next week too.
Let's say one more time.
One more time.